Hi everyone, Derek Boyko here for DraftMagic.com with my standard list here, which is our green, white, black tokens list. Now, I actually started a thread on the forums pretty recently, like maybe about a month ago, I suppose, about black, white tokens as a deck, and I suggested a green, white tokens list with Township, and I got a challenge saying, hey, build that deck. I don't think it's very good. Show me that it's good. Let's see some proof. And, well, here we are. I got the deck. Let's go ahead and see if we can get some proof here. Let me go ahead and go through a little bit about how the deck functions first, why I made some card choices, and we'll just kind of figure out basically how everything pulls together, the synergy of it. And then hopefully I'll see if I can jump into some two-mans here. We'll see if we can maybe play against a few decks and just kind of see how everything runs together. So, first of all, we do have a pretty good mana base here. We have 4 Razorverge Thicket, 4 Isolated Chapel, 9 Plains, a Swamp, and a Forest for 25 lands total. I believe it's 9 plains anyway. Yeah, 9. Okay. And then we have 3 Evolving Wilds to help mana fix for Plain, Swamp, or Forest, and 3 Township. Now, the reason why I'm choosing Township over Vault is basically, having 3 more Anthem effects is just straight up better than gaining a little bit of life here and there. Vault is normally going to gain you roughly between 6 to 8 life whenever you use it, but being able to Township could just deal them enough damage to just straight up kill them that turn you're doing it. Like, you're not playing a slow grindy game when you're playing tokens, and that's really what Vault is for. It's for that slow grindy game. You're playing a deck that just runs them over and kills them. And Township allows you to do that, where the Vault just doesn't. If I had a Vault on turn 4 and I'm just attacking you for like 6, gaining 6, I mean, that's not nearly as good as just attacking you for 9. So I would really prefer to play Township, and that's why I'm trying it here. I might honestly want 1 Vault in the sideboard to like swap out with the Township in certain matchups, like the mirror match for instance, because that's the only time you really want Vault. If my guys are running into yours and yours just kill all mine, even though mine are bigger, that's a little bit awkward, not gonna lie, with the Township. Plus racing is incredibly awkward at that point, but that's why I'm trying it out here. So, as far as 1-drops go, we have 4 Doom Travelers, 4 Champion. Pretty much any hand at all that has Champion in it in the opening hand is worth keeping. This card is by far the best card in the deck, which I'll probably say a few times here, but in your opening hand anyway, Champion is by far the best card in the deck. If you have one of these, it's just absurdly fast, because you can either go Champion into Champion Doom Traveler, or just like a Doom Traveler, attack for 2, or Honor the Pure, attack for 2, or preferably Gather the Townsfolk, attack for 3, since this is very, very good with Champion. Yeah, I mean, Gather Townsfolk is just nuts too. Being able to curve out with any 1-drop into Gather is very good. As far as the anthems go here on our 2-drops, we have 4 Honor the Pure and 4 Intangible Virtue. Out of these, the Virtue is actually usually better, even though the Honor the Pure hits pretty much all of our creatures, including our 1-drops. The fact that this gives Vigilance actually comes up quite often, especially when you're playing against other tokens or other aggro decks, when you can attack them for 4 and they can't really block, and then they can't attack into you because you have like a 2/4/4 Flying Vigilance guys. That's pretty awkward, or 2/2/2 Flying Vigilance. This card's just very good. So is Honor the Pure, obviously, but Honor doesn't hit Sorin tokens, which certainly comes up every now and then. As far as the 3-drops here, we have 4 Lingering Souls and 2 Midnight Hauntings. Lingering Souls is one of the main reasons to even be playing tokens right now. It's obviously good outside of a dedicated tokens deck, but it's pretty absurd to go turn 3 Lingering Souls, turn 4 Flashback, and another Anthem effect, or any other random like 2 or 1-drop. The Midnight Haunting is basically just Lingering Souls 5 and 6. Sometimes you also get to just humph like a Geist or a Drogskull Captain or something like that when they don't expect it. So it's kind of a sweet card. As far as removal, the only removal in the entire deck here is Oblivion Ring, just to deal with like problem swords in game 1, mostly, Sword of War and Peace obviously, problem Planeswalkers, things like that. Another namesake of the deck here is Sorin. Most of the time you'll just play it and Anthem, but it does give us another Anthem for the deck. The tokens are not completely irrelevant, and I've yet to -6 it, but I'm sure that'll come up at some point. 5 drops, we have 1 Elspeth Terrell. Being able to just play it and pop out 3 tokens is good, but the main reason you're playing it is for the life gain, actually. Against certain decks like Mono Red, you definitely want this in your deck. Increasing Devotion is a card I actually really like. Usually whenever they wrath your board, let's say you go Champion into Townsfolk, Anthem, and then they wrath, then you could just follow it up with Increasing Devotion, then you suddenly have 10 damage on the board again that they have to deal with right away or else they just die. Also, it does have some synergy with the deck with Champion of the Parish, which is kind of sweet. So if you have like a champion in play and you're increasing devotion, it gets +5 counters, and then if they just ratchet bomb, like you still have a giant monster. So yeah, this is basically the deck list. Also, as far as this goes, that flashback is not completely irrelevant if the game goes really late. So this is what I have been testing. This has been testing really well. Let's take a look at the sideboard though. Like I was saying, the 2 worst decks I have to play against are like blue-black, frights. Any deck that plays a crap load of wrath effects, so if some random Wolf Run deck is just suddenly playing Slag Storm, Whip Flare, and Ratchet Bomb, and they draw like 2 or 3 of them, it's pretty awkward. So I tried to go ahead and set up my sideboard here. Sword of War and Peace is also something very hard to deal with. Vault is pretty hard to deal with in the mirror match. Hexproof guys are somewhat difficult, but the great thing about tokens is most of the time I can actually just block them, other than Invisible Stalker, that is. So, or attack past them. So like Geist is obviously terrible against my deck, just because he can never really attack into me without dying instantly. Unless he has a Sword of War and Peace. I keep going back to that. So let's take a look here. We have 3 Nile Spell Bombs. This is basically just for the Burial Rites decks, like Frights and such, since a turn 4 Elish Norn is absolutely insane. And yeah, we want to stop that at all costs. So this is basically for those decks. I chose this over cards like Grafdigger's Cage, first of all because I'm playing Lingering Souls. So if I play a Cage, I can't use my Lingering Souls, which is kind of annoying. And second of all, because I'd rather be a little bit more proactive with a Nile Spellbomb. At the very worst, if Spellbomb is bad at that point in time, I can still cycle it, which I think makes this the best choice. Next we have a Divine Offering, which is there mostly for Batterskull and Sword of War and Peace. Just a good way to, kill that card as well as gain a little bit of life in the process back, hopefully. Next card here is Ray of Revelation, which is another good reason to be running green. Against the mirror match, or any match that plays a bunch of O-rings, you just get to side in Ray Revelation. It does the exact same thing that Ancient Grudge does against decks with a bunch of artifacts. So you get to kill all of their Anthem effects, which is very good. You also get to kill their O-rings on any of your stuff, and it's just really good value. Next here we have Beast Within, which is the last reason to really be playing green here. It's an answer to Vault, it's an answer to Sword, Batterskull, Elish Norn, just pretty much every single thing that I need an answer to, and it's just very, very, very strong. So, very good reason that it's in my deck. Next 2 cards here are Mirroring Crusader. This is mostly against the Dungrove deck, since Dungrove Elder plus some other cards is pretty hard for me to deal with usually. But playing a Mirroring Crusader against them and Anthony, Honor of the Pure Anthem up, or even Townshipping can usually just kill them. So I like a few of these. This is something I'm testing. It's also pretty good against any mono black deck or decks with heavy black removal, so something to keep in mind. Last card here is the Timely Reinforcements, which is mostly against mono red. It's also pretty good against any Ratchet Bomb type of deck that's also very aggressive. Like, I would certainly play Timely Reinforcements against the red-green aggro deck, just because we're both racing, and there's going to be a certain point where he just has more creatures than me with Huntmaster, where I can play this, get back in the race, and get a bunch of 2/2s. So yeah, this is basically the deck. It's been playing out very well. Hopefully we can see that in some of our games here, and I will be right back with you with a 2-man.